Hello. Welcome to Man on a Motorcycle. I know it's been a minute, but I'm back. I've been busy. And just to let you know, I'm not an ordained minister. I just love God and I spend a lot of time on my motorcycle. And usually it's just me and God. And it gives me the opportunity to go through His Word and kind of reason and develop these thoughts whenever I see a passage. And today I want to talk about Mark 7, and we're going to be talking about um, 24 through 30. But before that, I wanted to talk about the verse before where Jesus is talking about in Mark 7, verse 20. He's talking about how there's whatever goes into a person is not unclean. It's what comes out of a person that's unclean. Because we have to keep up our inner purity. And just because we eat something or we take something in doesn't mean that it goes directly to our heart. What comes out of us is what comes from our heart a lot of times. And that's what his message was before that. But the reason why I'm saying that is because it makes it interesting for the next passage at 24, because he says that the Bible says that Jesus leaves and he goes to the vicinity of Tyre. Well, Tyre at this time is not a very good place. This is a place where there are a lot of people that have these inner immoral stuff, and it's not a good place. Matter of fact, Tyre was one of the main cities that celebrated the fall of Israel when it went down almost 600 years prior to this. I mean, there's a real hate between these two. So it says Jesus left that place and went to the vicinity of Tyre. And it said he entered a house and did not want anyone to know it. Yet he could not keep his presence secret. Okay. Let's just right there, that verse alone is so multifaceted and so powerful. Just, we can read about it and look at it on the surface level, which a lot of this passage is like that, where on the surface level we look at it, we say, okay, yeah, he entered the house, but he didn't want anyone to know he was there, but word got out anyway. Well, let's think about this on a different level. When Jesus enters your life and into you, it's not broadcast a lot of times. A lot of people, it's not, I don't know, you don't just send out a Facebook request to everybody saying, I just allowed Jesus into my life. It's just sometimes God expects for you to have a personal relationship with Him and Jesus. So when you accept Jesus into your life, that's something that's personal. It's something that you just don't like, you wouldn't broadcast it, right? But on the other hand, just like what this says, is yet he couldn't keep his presence secret. So when we allow Jesus into our life and he takes possession of everything, we put God first, we won't be able to help but keep the presence of Jesus. We can't keep it a secret anymore. I mean, that it's out, it's in us, and we just can't help but release it. And it's a something that almost like a glow, I mean. So the first verse in this whole thing is just so powerful, it's unbelievable. So then it goes into, in fact, as soon as she heard about it, a woman whose little daughter was possessed by an evil spirit came and fell at his feet. Here we go again. On face value, we have a lady that heard that Jesus was present, right? And she comes to him and she falls at his feet because her daughter is in need. And the daughter has an evil spirit that's come about her, right? Now let's think about this. Let's think about this in modern day terms. When someone knows the presence of Jesus amongst you, and they come to you, and they have a real need, right? Like in this example, the lady has a young daughter that has this demon or this evil demon that's attached to her. My question to you is how many times as a adult or a parent or something, a guardian, that we sometimes may have actually attached that demon ourselves to that child. I mean, and I don't know, maybe it's something that we just really don't even think that it's that big of a deal, but somehow or another it becomes above God, and it becomes something that's attached and becomes demonized and sometimes evil. So, with that being said, the woman was Greek, born in Syria, Phoenicia. She begged Jesus to drive the demon out of her daughter. Now, here's the importance of that. With the Bible pointing out the fact that the woman is Greek, that means that she is impure, okay? She's from Tyre, she's from Phoenicia. The Greeks and Jews did not, Jews and Gentiles they didn't mix, all right? The Gentiles and Greeks were considered unclean, and Jews that was not kosher, to like a better term, to actually intertwine with the Greeks. Yeah, but Jesus was here for a reason. Of course, Jesus is always present for a reason. Jesus doesn't have off days. He doesn't make mistakes. He is at Tyre for a reason, and this could be one of them, right? So, Jesus replies, and this blows my mind, okay? Says, first, let the children eat all they want. This is what Jesus said. He said, and then he told her, for it is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to their dogs. Whew, man, trigger alert, block me. I might find some trolls, I don't know, but Jesus was not the kind of guy to trifle with, all right? I mean, he was going to put you in check. Jesus was not the kind of guy that was all-inclusive. I mean, you can say what you want, and Jesus did love the little children, but Jesus was also the kind of person that he was going to make sure your faith was right. Okay? He's not looking, he's the kind of person that if he knew that you were there for a hand out instead of a hand up, he's going to check you on it. All right? And that's just how Jesus was. Jesus was, man, he was stone cold sometimes. And I had a boss like that, the chief I had when I first started. You go in there for a simple question, and before you knew it, within 5 minutes, you were like questioning your life decisions, because he was the same way. He would cause you to start this whole thought process and make you come up with like your own answers, and I try to do the same thing with the guys I work with. I answer questions with questions because I want them to think. I don't want them to treat me like Wikipedia or something, right? Well, that's what happens here. This is stone cold. For it is not right to let the children's bread and toss it to their dogs. So, man, on the surface, he's saying, okay, lady, one, there's a hierarchy here, all right? My disciples are going to spend time with me first, and I will heal them and preach to them, and they will get as much of me as they want. And then whenever there's enough there, then I'll come see you. Because basically there's a hierarchy. You are a second class type person in this hierarchy, and you know it's almost stone cold where he's like, you are less. He doesn't really say you're less than, but he's saying, listen, this is how it's going to work out, right? And he's saying this, and that's on the surface value, you would think, man, it's pretty harsh, right? But it's not, and the reason why is because on the next verse on 29, this lady must have like channeled her inner my wife, because it's unbelievable, her reply. I mean, and it goes back to what I was saying about my old chief. It's like she got her answer by her reply, and it's so powerful, and there's so many things that we can learn from this. And it says, yes, Lord. She says this to him. She says, yes, Lord. But even the dogs under the table eat the children's crumbs. And I'm thinking at that moment, she realized that she had answered her own request, because she had proven one to Jesus that, you know what, I know you guys consider us to be unclean. I'm a woman, and I'm not of the Jewish faith, but we listen, we hear you, and some of us are actually picking up these crumbs, and we believe you. And I think, with that being said, isn't that how it is for us as Christians now? And I hate using the word Christian, but as people of the faith, of passing on the word, we leave breadcrumbs, right? I mean, there's people out in this world that spend all their time in the Bible, and they love the Bible, and they love God, and they love Jesus, and sometimes they don't let those crumbs out. But then there's other people that will be like, oh yeah, in the Bible it says this and that, and you may be talking to a non-believer that hears that little crumb or that little bit, and that starts the process of them changing forever, and it may change them into full-blown believers, and then they're eating all the bread and leaving the crumbs. And it's almost like that's how almost everything works, it seems like, when it comes to your finances and everything. Whenever you decide to tithe to God gives you more, so it bleeds it. You're blessed to be a blessing. The breadcrumbs from the table, they fall to the dogs. Everything seems to have this certain way of trickling down. And the reason why I said she answered her problem, I think, with this reply, is because what if she was the one also attached to some kind of evil demon, and she realized that even though she was picking up these crumbs from the bread of the table, she didn't realize what she actually had until Jesus was present and showed it to her in probably a pretty harsh way. But like I said, Jesus wasn't one to trifle with. He's going to make sure that you're for real. So what's Jesus say? Yeah, he says, then he told her, for such a reply, you may go, the demon has left your daughter. So see, she believed that she could get things repaired with her daughter if Jesus was present to repair the daughter. And what happened was once she repaired herself and realized through her reply to God, to Jesus, that, hey, I'm receiving this goodness too. It may be in a small portion, but I'm receiving this goodness. I think she realized that, Jesus doesn't have to be present to heal you or to take these demons away from you. Because then, Jesus says, for this reply, you may go. The demon has left your daughter. Isn't that amazing? I mean, when she realized that she had picked up those crumbs and she had been listening to what's been being told to the disciples, and Jesus saying, listen, I'm not going to throw you the full loaf of bread just yet, okay? Because I'm feeding my disciples. And with her reply, I think she got her answer. And then when she replied that, Jesus is like, you know what? You've passed the test. Like you now you realize, you've been blessed because you realize that you have been fed the crumbs from the table. Maybe not the full loaf, but you got the crumbs. And now you're a believer. And now look what happens. I don't even have to be present in your household as long as I'm present in your heart to heal people. You pass this on to your daughter, and now I don't have to be present for that because I am present here. I'm present in you now because you've decided to take the crumbs, and that crumb will eventually turn into a full loaf of bread. And then it finishes that she went home and found her child lying in bed, and the demon was gone. Man, I've been stewing on this thing for weeks, and I still don't have all the answers. This is just the stuff that I wanted to get off my chest because it was just blowing my mind. Glory be to God. And just know that even whenever you're in a dark place, or someone else that you love is in a dark place, as long as you're taking those crumbs from the table and you're trying to make something of it, and you keep Jesus with you, he doesn't have to be physically present to heal whatever's ailing you, because he already is. He's present in you. And the Bible tells us that, Jesus says we can do greater things than he did if we have that kind of faith. So keep eating the crumbs and make it into bread, because we are greater than conquerors, and we can do greater things than Jesus did with our faith. God bless you. I hope you have a great week. I'll try to keep the videos going. I love you. Goodbye.